There is a famous instruction in the book of Luke where a rich man asks what he must do to inherit eternal life. Jesus answers, "Sell all you own, distribute the money to the poor, and you will have treasure in heaven." For 2,000 years, millions of Christians have read that exact text as they pondered their faith. And for 2,000 years, practically no one has ever followed that instruction to the letter. Then there was Peter Waldo. Valdez, as he was known in French, was a late 12th century merchant living in Lyon, France. He was a deeply devout Catholic, a highly successful business leader, and a prominent member of the city's social elite. Taking an abstract religious ideal and deciding to execute it literally is a massive risk. Doing so as an immediate physical action inherently threatens the stability of any social order built on the accumulation of wealth. In the year 1172, a severe drought triggered a devastating famine across France and Germany. In the 12th century, there was no governmental social safety net to catch the poor when the crops failed. Looking for a deeper spiritual response to the mass starvation around him, Waldo wanted to consult the scriptures directly. Instead, he hit a massive, systemic barrier. The text was locked entirely in Latin. It was an elite language strictly controlled by the church hierarchy, making the actual words of the Bible totally inaccessible to the general public. Waldo used his considerable wealth to engineer a workaround. He quietly commissioned 2 local scholars to translate portions of the Bible out of Latin and into the regional vernacular, the everyday language of the people. Because a private citizen paying to translate texts for personal use was practically unheard of, the request flew completely under the radar of the church's institutional security. They had no reason to suspect it was illegal. Waldo studied his new translations and took them at their word. Throughout the grueling summer of 1172, he set up a massive operation, handing out regular doles of bread, meat, and soup 3 days a week to whoever asked. His financial surrender reached its absolute peak on August 15th. Walking into the public streets, he literally scattered his fortune to the crowds, declaring that no one can serve God and money. His business partners, his friends, and even his own wife observed this extreme behavior and arrived at a swift conclusion. They didn't see a saint. They believed the wealthy merchant had gone utterly mad. But the historical record shows a highly rational mind at work. Before formally distancing himself from his remaining property, Waldo made precise legal arrangements to allocate a significant portion of his real estate, guaranteeing his wife and 2 daughters would remain financially secure. He knew exactly what he was doing. However, in a society strictly stratified by class and capital, absolute obedience to a doctrine of poverty looks exactly like a mental breakdown. Giving away his fortune alienated him from his family and his class. But his very next move made him a true enemy of the state. Behold the educational divide of 12th century Europe. Over 90% of the public was completely illiterate, while barely 1% could read Latin. Waldo and his followers deployed a radical tactic, reading the translated scriptures out loud in the common tongue. In a world where storytelling and lengthy ballads were the primary way people shared information, the spoken word was incredibly powerful. By speaking the translated text aloud, the illiterate masses could instantly absorb and debate ideas, entirely bypassing the church's monopoly on divine interpretation. Extreme charity is a concept a large institution can ultimately tolerate. The unmediated, unauthorized distribution of gate-kept information is an existential threat. The Roman Catholic hierarchy quickly realized that Waldo's vernacular preaching was rapidly eroding their absolute authority over what the text actually meant. They escalated their response to shut the movement down. The poor of Lyon were officially excommunicated in 1184, and by 1215 they were formally condemned as heretics. That condemnation authorized a brutally organized, centuries-long crusade designed specifically to hunt down Waldo's followers and burn their unauthorized translations to ash. As the centuries passed, the facts surrounding the initial 1172 famine faded, replaced by myths about his conversion. Yet despite the massive pressure from the ruling class, the Waldensian movement survived underground. Peter Waldo's legacy proves a lasting historical rule. Removing the barriers that protect restricted texts destabilizes the most powerful institutions on Earth that rely on keeping that information locked away.